They had sat beneath the aqueduct with palms out, three among a crowd of many, unsuccessfully importuning the passers-by as the sun sank in the sky. When the arms of the old lady were low, Felix often contributed some of his own supplies to her, food or a coin. She was the exception to his rule of everyone looking after their own. He told himself it was not sentimentality, but the vital role she played in providing childcare for Tullia. Then Felix met the legionary. The soldier, tall and skinny with a scar on one cheek, had looked their way when Felix called out for pity. He had leaned over, laughed, and spat on Tullia. Tullia took the insult with equanimity. Nothing new for her. The blind lady put a protective arm around the little girl. Felix bridled at the insult, though was powerless to attempt redress. But then he became transfixed by the bulla dangling on a chain from the soldier's neck. The bulla was a common enough charm, worn by male children to ward them against evil spirits. This soldier seemed to be attached enough to his to wear it as an adult. Many legionaries were understandably superstitious, so maybe this one felt it brought him luck, despite the obvious teasing wearing the childish symbol would bring him. The bulla was in the shape of a winged penis with a bulbous tip, and looked like it was made of solid silver. So maybe it was more than just luck for which it was worn. It had value too. One of the wings was broken halfway down, and there was a notch in the shaft of the disproportionate phallus. The legionary saw Felix staring at the charm and put a hand to it protectively. He signed a curse towards them and wandered away, a slight stagger in his stride, suggesting he had started the night's drinking early. Felix averted his eyes until the legionary was some distance away, then stared at the retreating back, mind whirling. He placed a hand on the blind lady's arm. "Servilia, will you mind Tullia for a bit longer for me, please?" "Of course, dear," said Servilia. "Where are you going, Felix?" asked Tullia petulantly. "I have something to do." So Felix had followed the legionary from tavern to tavern, watching him get drunker and drunker as his purse got lighter and lighter. There was a short stay in a brothel, remarkably short, Felix had thought, having a rough idea of what was supposed to happen in there. And then the legionary, in fouler temper, had emerged and headed for another tavern and another drink. By the time the moon had risen into the starred sky, the legionary was barely capable of standing. Felix watched from a distance, still unobtrusive, as the legionary slumped against a wall and then slid down it. Now he watched the gentle rise and fall of the legionary's chest, indicating that the man was asleep, or had drunk himself unconscious, or some combination of the two. The time had come for Felix to act, but he hesitated. This wasn't an apple or a loaf from the market, deserving of a striping from one of the vigiles. This was something of value, and if he was caught, he could expect to be punished with a long trip to the salt mines, or a short one, if what he had heard about the life expectancy there was true. He looked around him. The street was momentarily deserted. The soldier snored. It was now or never. He tiptoed up to the recumbent figure and gently picked up the bulla. It was attached by a copper chain, but he couldn't immediately see the fastener. He probed around the back of the legionary's neck, and he smiled as his fingers touched a hook. The legionary's eyes opened, and he gripped Felix's wrist. Felix jumped backward with a cry, keeping his grasp on the bulla. The light chain broke, and the charm came away in his hand, unbalancing him so he stumbled onto his backside. The legionary staggered to his feet, and Felix sat for a moment, frozen with terror. Then the soldier let out an enraged roar, and Felix jumped up and bolted down the street. Unsteadily, the soldier gave chase. Felix was young and fast, but the soldier was a grown man, used to marching for hours every day with a heavy pack on his back. So despite his impaired state and the head start that Felix had, the legionary was soon gaining on the young thief.